Lakhs of students line up to study management across India. It's one of the most coveted courses and one that most believe is never going to go out of fashion. It's always going to be in vogue, especially if you have an MBA from a top institute in India under your belt. But is an MBA a short ticket to success? What does it take besides just getting an MBA degree from a reasonably good institution to make it to the top? That's what we're looking at today. A special panel with me. Thanks all so much for taking our time to speak to us. Let me introduce our panel here. Madhu Vij, Professor, Faculty of Management Studies here with us. Gautam Puri, co-founder and vice chairman, Career Launcher. Also Sulakshan Kumar, co-founder and director, My Smart Price, an online shopping research venture with us. Thanks all so much for being with us. Madhu Vij, ma'am, first to you. You're at FMS, very coveted, top of the line. You've seen students line up there and perhaps want to try sometimes year after year to get in. What do you believe it is about an MBA? Is it the way the world's expanding? Is it how we're sort of looking at a flat world and how management now students believe is really going to be the degree that's going to arm you for the future? How much of that is actually true?
Personally, I would feel that, the way things have unfolded in the last few years. So whether you would talk of the recent subprime crisis or the other crises we have witnessed, we see the kind of change which has happened in the corporate leadership. In fact, if you had seen the recent HBR, it talked of design thinking. Now, businesses have also become more complex. And in this complex world, you need, I would say, a different kind of education to match the requirements. Now, I would not say that the degree, the piece of paper which says that you are an MBA is a magical degree. I would not say that. But yes, it is still a gateway to your success.
It is a gateway to your success.
It is a gateway.
Mr. Puri, sir, you have, of course, looking at all those students who are lining up, big dreams in their eyes, want an MBA under their belt, want to be successful, want to be part of these, large numbers that ma'am just spoke about. What do you believe that does it take to first crack an MBA? We are hitting MBA season and we're going to be looking at all those who are lining up. We're constantly flooded by calls and mails on just, should I do it, should I not do it? They've already made up their mind that they want to do it. Over the last couple of years, what's the scenario been looking like? Are there more takers, the same number of takers?
Yeah, see, this year the number of takers have gone up. Last year the number of applications were 1.95 lakhs. This year about 2.15 lakhs. So a small 10% increase has happened. But coming back to what you started off with, what does it take to do well in an MBA entrance exam? Simple, hard work. There's no shortcuts to success. You have to put in effort. You have to be consistent in your effort. You cannot say, I'll work for 18 hours on weekends and rest of the week I'll have fun. Sorry, you wouldn't make it. Unless you happen to be an Einstein. So as long as you're willing to put in effort, consistent effort over let's say 6 to 9 months, you can make it. Anyone with average or above average intelligence can make it.
That's actually very heartening to know. You're saying that at the end of the day, average intelligence, hard work, and you can make it to say perhaps like one of the top.
And you will not get a better example than me. Pathetic in academics in school, barely managed to clear 10th standard. Repeated 12th standard because I had very poor marks and no college in India would possibly give me admission. Repeated 12th standard, somehow managed to get into engineering. And then possibly I changed a little, started putting in effort and went into IIM Bangalore. So if someone with my kind of academics can make it, I can assure you any idiot can make it.
That's a terrific story, isn't it? Because that's just the kind of story that would perhaps give heart to so many people out there that, eventually it's just hard work. Quickly, before I just come to you, ma'am, is that your understanding as well, that at the end of the day, it's just hard work that takes you not just into the management course of your choice, but then even in life from there on, the job that you want? What would you say to somebody who's watching and,
I would say hard work, yes, but there's a little intelligence also. Maybe there's little creativity or that little intelligence which also adds on. But yes, hard work, dedication.
There is no substitute
There is no substitute for hard work and the dedication.
So Lakshan, let me bring you in. You're somebody who hasn't got an MBA. And how do you see this debate? Because there are loads of people out there, you've got your own startup. There are loads of people out there who sort of now have begun to sort of go for the most coveted of them all, which is have an engineering degree and a management degree. If you can crack an IIT and an IIM, then they think that you're made.
So
but you are proof that doesn't necessarily.
See, you are made till the point you have got the degree. After that, if you want to still be there, you still need to keep doing hard work, dedication, everything, right? So I see, above MBA, there is something which is hard work, passion, dedication, attitude. right? And if you have that, right, you can reach anywhere. So that's how I believe it.
Did it ever sort of cross your mind that you wanted to study and you do an MBA? Because
Yeah,
you started your own venture, where an MBA, I would imagine, would sort of go a long way in helping you or aiding you.
Yeah, so it's true that, I mean, one point of time, I mean, before my startup, right? So I had almost like 9 years of work experience. So mid of that, after 3 or 4 years, I thought, let me go and do an MBA. Right? But then I thought, I mean, what is the value that I am getting? Even if I do an MBA, right, nothing is going to change. At the end of the day, after doing an MBA, I'll have some loan on my head, right? That will make it even more difficult to leave my job and do my own startup, right? So that's at that point I decided, let me just keep working and give myself some time, nurture my talent or whatever skills that I have, and then when time was right, I left my job and I started my company.
There's clearly no one size fits all. I mean, to each zone, you can do it your own way. But ma'am, to all those who would say, even in this scenario where things are competitive, but at the end of the day, what you've studied, of course, goes a long way in helping you at the end. But after that, you're on your own, a young India, enterprise, startups, booming and all of that. What would you say in this scenario is also the value of an MBA?
Ultimately, it's about the kind of professional attitude you develop after the 2-year rigor. So, like I have seen students who enter the first year, could it be from the best IITs or the best schools, they're a little unsure of themselves. And probably, school teaching or college teaching, undergraduate teaching, it's a one-way process. So there's a faculty who interacts, but
and you're supposed to be like a sponge, just absorbing it.
Absolutely, just absorbing. But what happens in a B school is the kind of interactive sessions they have, the kind of workshops, even interacting with a leader, or even the kind of, lot of seminars and interactive workshops we have. Or maybe even just the presentation in the class, or the entire group mentality, wherein they can't sit in their own rooms and be working. It has to be
working in isolation
you
alone.
Cannot be. So that group cohesiveness and how to move as a team is, I mean, they are values you imbibe without even knowing that you are being taught.
Mr. Puri, the concern is that we have such few quality management institutions, and given our numbers, we really have very few. And the challenge is that, but at the same time, engineering and management are the kind of institutes we're seeing mushrooming all across the country. Questions are raised on the business of education and all of that. To all those who come to you, sort of, everyone's of course wanting to make it to the top, but few seats, so many takers. Obviously, there is a major imbalance there. How do you counsel them to be prepared to move on from here, repeat it, take what you're on offer? How does one decide? How does a student decide?
Everyone believes MBA is a good deal. I don't believe that MBA is a good deal. MBA from a good institute is a good idea. Otherwise, MBA is a waste of time. The same thing would be true for engineering
very
also.
Important.
Same thing would be true for engineering also. You do engineering from a good college, you will learn, you will have knowledge, you will get many things from the college, and hence you will do well in your career. The same thing is true for MBA also. So you have India has at this point of time 4,500 approved MBA institutes. And if you ask me which are the ones worth joining, I'll possibly stop at 100. And even reaching 100 will be a struggle. So you're absolutely right. There's a positive of good colleges. When I say a good college will have good faculty. A good college will be able to provide you latest in terms of all the areas of, let's say, management, whether it is marketing, whether it is operation, whether it is finance, or etc., etc. It will help you get good industry interaction in those 2 years. And hence, companies will come to the institute and offer good placement. Okay, so companies offering placement is the output of what has happened in those 2 years.
So what would you say to those students who perhaps are not able to make it? Because the vast numbers that come to you, I would imagine there are large numbers who are unable.
I don't think so it adds any value. I mean, yes, top institutes might add value, right? Because, I mean, first is the filtering process, right? So
which is in any case so tough that you are taking the cream anyway.
So as a kind of entrepreneur, right, I also go to IIMs and ISB to recruit, right? But the prime thing is that I am getting the best of the guys. I am getting the guys who know how to put in hard work, right? I am getting the guys who are smart, right? And that's perhaps I go, right? Because it's a filter.
But tell me one thing, given that you've proved that you don't really need to be an MBA to sort of get these big ideas to be successful, why are you still looking to recruit management students?
See, because it's a filter, right? So perhaps the filter is the CAT or the entrance examination, right? The guy who knows how to put in hard work. Right.
So I'll just add to it. Sorry for interrupting. It's a filter. It is ensuring that the good, hard-working students are there.
Yes.
Secondly, those 2 years have taught you many things which will be helpful in business.
Right.
For example, before I started my business, with due respect to Laksham, before I started my business, had I gone straight after engineering, I would have been learning many things on the job.
On the job,
Those
right,
2
right.
years gave me knowledge which otherwise would have taken me
Right.
anything from 5 to 10 years.
Prepared you for that. Right?
So
Yeah.
just coming back to the earlier question, what do you tell a student
Yeah.
who is not able to make to a good institute? I'll say take another attempt if you
Right.
think you have the capability. If after 2 or 3 attempts you are not able to make it, forget about it, move on.
Right.
So
it,
on that,
it is important that you move on, because otherwise you'll waste your life trying to go through CAT and all other MBA
I want to
entrance
just
exams.
ask you, how does that really go down with students? Like, how do they
Not
take
very
it?
well.
Because it's not just students, it's also parents
You
who've
see,
got a certain image of
more
how
than-
they want their child to be, where they want their child to be,
See,
which
for
is not
most of
always
the parents,
reality.
For most of the parents, this is the difficult part.
Yeah.
Many students are able to understand, accept and move on. Actually, you don't have an option also.
Let me just add here, we talk of transformational thinking from the perspective of an MBA. But as Mr. Puri is also saying, that if you cannot clear through the first attempt or the second attempt, I think it's good to go for some of the prestigious master's degree.
Right.
For
Right.
example, an MA from a Delhi School of Economics
Right.
is probably
Right.
as tough or
Right.
more tough than getting
Right.
into an MBA.
Right. Right.
So I think you can identify, your priority ranking. That if not here, then let me go to
Right.
one of the.
And that's very important, because that sort of is I think, an easier way around the frustration that sets in,
The advice typically to students is don't prepare for one exam.
I
Which
see.
means when you're preparing for CAT
I see.
or MBA entrances in India, prepare either for GRE or GMAT along with it.
I see.
If
okay.
you don't think
so
that
hedge
is-
your bets.
Yeah, or
Like,
take
hedge
banking
your
and
bets,
yeah,
right.
because you
Very
need
fair.
to have a plan B in front of you.
Absolutely.
one thing is for sure, that the person should not cool off after doing an MBA.
Yeah,
If he has to
right.
keep growing in his career,
Right.
in his life,
Right,
So
right.
that's MBA is not the end of the story. Perhaps you need to put in the equal amount of hard work or smartness or
Sure.
dedication in your job, right?
Sure,
Then
sure.
only you can grow.
Right. And that's, of course, an important point. Something that we're going to look at after the break. It's not all done after you've cracked it, even if you've made it to the top institutes that we're talking about. There's so much else that matters. That's what we're going to be looking at. We've spoken a bit about all that an MBA teaches you, but remember, the point that's also being made is that hedge your bets. You need to sort of make sure that there is a plan B. It's always good to have a plan B in life. What could those plan Bs be? A bit more of that after the break. Don't go away.